Thomas with another video review, and today we're going to be taking a look at the new TFC Toys F4 Phantom, part of their Uranos set. Now, much like what TFC Toys did with Devastator, giving us Hercules, they decided to do it again and basically take the aerial bots in Superion and give us Uranos. And I'm very happy that they changed the name Uranos, because originally it was Uranus. And I swear, I think they did that just to drive us video reviewers absolutely nuts and get us saying Uranus all the time. But as you can see, very similar packaging to what we got with the Hercules figures. I really do love the kind of reflective Uranos logo right there, but very cool. Nice artwork here on the side. Flip around here on the back. You got the aircraft form, you got the robot form, and of course, the combiner form. And as you can really see, especially here, this guy is obviously an homage to the aerial bot known as Fireflight, who in fact was an F4 Phantom. Come around to the top, you got just a little artwork there. You got some design looks right here. I mean, I really dig the way this guy looks. Now, some people were already kind of complaining because Fireflight really didn't have these little shoulder bits hanging out. And then the other thing that I think people were mostly complaining about was these tail fin kind of things aren't red like the toy was. But that's where places like Reprolabels is going to come in. Warning, you can choke on them. But yeah, I'm definitely sure that Reprolabels is going to do a set. Unlike what I did with my Hercules one, I'm not going to show you the Reprolabels set until the very end. I'll highlight all those extra special details when I do the full-on Superion review, which is going to be a few months because these are coming out like every other month. So we got another journey ahead of us, guys, but very cool. I'm very excited about this guy. So let's get him open and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Phantom opened up and out of its packaging. And first thing that I want to talk about is kind of the insert of the packaging. Now, with the Hercules figures, we got this as well. But this, for me, is just absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely dig the way that looks. Now, the real kind of cool thing is that when you do get this, you also get a little poster with Phantom on here, which that's all it really is. It's just a poster. But I like the way that looks, but I wish it looked like that. That is really freaking cool looking. Just something about the neon look, just I really dig it. So I just thought I'd show that off. Now, as I said, you know, I mean, he does come with that little poster, so that's one little thing. But he also does come with a little tech spec card, which you got the specs on here in the back. So there's his tech specs for you guys. But he also comes with this little baggie of bits. Now, at first I didn't know what they were for. At first I honestly had no idea what they're for, and I'm probably not actually going to use them, but what they're actually designed for is to kind of cover these screw holes. They just peg in here, 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 and here, and that just kind of gives a little bit more of a clean look for him, which I really do dig, and I totally do actually really kind of appreciate. He does come with the right arm for Uranos, or Superion, whatever you want to call him, and I do really dig it. Some really nice paint apps on here. Zooming in, you can see that this whole section right here is actually painted red as opposed to just being molded, and then very nice. In terms of his articulation, you got the thumb ball joint right there. You got a swivel here on the thumb just right there, and then all the fingers are nicely articulated. You got two different knuckles here. You got the top knuckle, and then you got the fingers here. So a lot of articulation in this. I'm really looking forward to it. One thing that I've already kind of noticed, however, though, is that this peg appears to be a little bit too short. Maybe if you extend it out, it'd be a little bit better. But that's something that we'll touch on when we get to the full combiner mode. So it's going to be a ways away, so I'll probably forget that I even complained about that. In addition to that, he does come with these missiles that plug into the bottom here. Now, this is where I already have a problem with. As you can see, Fireflight, or Phantom, whatever you want to call him, is this Phantom jet and looks very, very accurate. I love the way that this guy looks. Now, in terms of the cartoon accuracy, he does not necessarily have that. He doesn't have the red tail fins here. It doesn't bug me all that much. It really honestly doesn't. You see the thrusters there in the back. But you got two different sections right here. You can plug these in. You can plug these in here, or you can plug these in here. Now, I guess this actually really does kind of bug me for some reason. But when you put them on the ground, it doesn't, the missiles stick down too low, and you can see that the front tire here doesn't touch the ground all the way. So it's scraping on here. So that's one thing that does kind of bug me. Now, I don't know why, but you got another section here. You can fold this up, and then you can put these here if you want to. Just I guess it looks a little bit better when it's a little bit further out on the wing. I guess you could do that, but you got those bits right there. Very cool. I do like the fact you can put them under there. But like I said, when you have him in his jet mode, you can't have him actually roll, and these are actual wheels. So really cool. You flip it around here on the bottom, and you can see all the junk underneath there. Very, very cool looking jet mode though. I absolutely dig it. Fairly good size. I mean, you're getting a good look at how big it pretty much is. But for a size comparison, here he is, and here's Starscream. Now obviously Starscream is a deluxe size figure, so this is a much smaller scale than really what we're kind of used to looking at, but Starscream's kind of the gold standard, I suppose, when it comes to jets and things of that nature. So you can really see a good size difference here, but using a little bit more of a kind of aerial bot sort of figure. This is a little bit better of a scale. He's, like I said, he's ultra class, so he's a little bit bigger. This guy's more Voyager size, I would venture to guess, but you can see the size here, and I know it's not getting properly shown, but you can really kind of get an idea, I suppose. But there's just a little bit of a size comparison for you. Now, transformation is actually fairly easy on this guy. It was one thing that I was kind of surprised about. I thought it'd be a little bit more complicated, but it really is actually kind of easy. There are some kind of things that I am a little bit worried about. First off, I'm going to tell you that the plastic quality on here, coming from TFC Toys, feels a little bit lighter than what we've gotten previously with, say, Hercules. And again, talking about gold standards, Hercules is kind of the gold standard for me. And it really comes down to the quality, I suppose, of the plastic. And really by that, I guess I mean that it just feels like it's thinner and a little bit more fragile. The tolerances are a little bit of something that make me a little bit more concerned. First, what you want to do, come around here, and really you want to untab this. As you can see, this section here tabs in there, but again, this tab just makes me feel nervous when you're doing it, because that gets up there really tight. So when you're doing it, make sure you pull right by where it is, and yeah, see, that gets up there. There we go. Just loosen this up. Now you can take these off. They just peg in there, which it's kind of poopy, but you can just kind of leave them there just like so, and just kind of angle that out if you really want. Go ahead, take these sections here, fold these up. As you can see, they kind of tabbed up in there, and then just fold these all the way out like so. Do that on this side as well. They kind of lock in just on the side. Fold that out just like so. Then you can angle these out, loosening all this up. This section here can lift up, fold back, and you're going to obviously start creating that kind of back look for them. And then again, here's bits where the tolerances on these tabs make me feel a little nervous. Kind of lift and pull up, and these tabs are what are making me nervous, and they kind of look like the tabs that they gave us to replace things with. So that's one thing that, well, I mean, I'm happy that they do. Lift this whole section, kind of angle this down. This section right here, this lifts up, and this accordion's up along his back. Then this can only really kind of fold one way all the way up. You can kind of see like a groove section right up in here where you're able to fold and accordion this. But again, this is something that's kind of weird. When you come up to this section right here, and here I'm just gonna take these wings off just so you can kind of get a real good look. Zooming in, you can see where like the red, this section right here just perfectly fits on here. What you then actually have to do is kind of force this to wedge a little bit more, and again, that's something that makes me a little bit nervous, because you're splitting this, so you have to do that, bring it all the way down, and then you got two little sections here, a little hole here and a little hole here that these little bits will tab into, and they just lock into place. And kind of angling that back, now you have his back pretty much done, which is really cool. I love that look. Then it's really funny. I mean, it is a very simple transformation, and it's all you have to do now is kind of separate these, pull these out, pull them all the way till you hear a click, just like so. Sounds like you're cracking your knuckle. Pull that out, click, just like so. That was a little bit quieter than the other one. Lift these sections up just like so. Take this, fold this down, and then you want to rotate this Do that on that side as well. Fold it down a little bit, rotate it around. And you kind of need to do that because if you push it all the way down, he doesn't stand very well. I mean, you can push it all the way down, but then it doesn't really have much of a heel. I mean, he kind of sort of does, but you really need to kind of leave it angled up and then just kind of push the feet down to get him to actually stand. Then just come to these arms, fold out his fists on both sides, rotate this section down. Now the instructions and everything show these bits up like so, and then just kind of straighten out the head. These really are kind of ugly. I totally do not like the way that this whole thing looks with these out. So they actually fold down, which gives it a much better look in my opinion. And then just kind of straighten everything out. And here you have Phantom in his robot mode. Now, if you transformed him and you took these off like I did, all you have to do is bring them back on here. They just rotate around, fold back, and then they fold just like in. So you can do that. It doesn't really matter what you do. I mean, they are detachable, so you can take them off and transform them, or you can leave them on and transform them. It really doesn't matter. But there you have Phantom. Now, one thing that he is definitely going to need is some Reprolabel stickers, which I'm going to be very happy to show that off, as I said, when I do the full combiner review of Uranos. Last time it just didn't work too well. I did each figure individually, showing off the stickers and such, but in turn it ended up making me be one of the last people to review Hercules, and I didn't particularly like that. So I'm gonna wait to the very end now. And then for his missiles, you can just come around here, and they have little pegs right here. You can peg them into the side, or I suppose you can actually have them hold them just like so, which that looks cool too. I do kind of like that. But this guy, I really do dig. Now, again, he's a third-party figure, so he doesn't have the same quality level as, say, Hasbro items. But in my honest opinion, the quality level of the plastic seems to have been reduced when you look at the Hercules set. It's just, especially in the legs. The upper body's not too bad, but the legs, I mean, they're hollow because they got to transform, but it just feels thinner, I suppose, and that's one thing that does really actually kind of bug me, especially when you're paying $100 for this figure. If you're going to pay that much, you really should be getting the same quality level that we got previously with Hercules. As I said, that's the gold standard for me. I really think that Hercules is one of the best third-party figures that we've ever gotten, and I hold a lot of figures, not just TFC Toys. I hold a lot of figures that are released by third parties up to that Hercules standard. It's just, personally for me, one of my absolute favorites. But this guy really does look very cool. Now, again, another nitpick that people have had is, like I said, these not being red, and that's a perfectly valid point. It's not cartoon accurate. It doesn't bother me all that much because I'm sure we'll get stickers to do it. But the other thing that people have complained about is the lack of cartoon accuracy in terms of his head sculpt. We basically got two things going for us. Number one, the cartoon look, he had a mouth. That's all there is to it. The actual toy form had the visor, and that's what we have here. The toy for this guy has the mouth visor, or mouth plate or whatever, and you can see that is some wicked cool light piping. Again, the light piping with this, the entire back section is all this really kind of yellow amber plastic bit, which gives awesome light piping on these guys. But in terms of what you're gonna like, it's obviously gonna vary. I'm fairly certain at some point in time a third-party company will come around here and replace the heads, kind of give us more accurate looking ones. But that being said, I have no problems with the head sculpt at all. I think it's a wonderful update. I think it's kind of a throwback to the actual vintage toy, and I really do kind of dig it. Accuracy for the head sculpt aside, everything else on this figure is very, very well done. The articulation obviously is going to be what you expect from TFC Toys. I don't quite understand this flap thing. I like how it comes down and it kind of hides the actual combiner joint, but that's just kind of weird, I guess. The head is on a very nice ball joint, so good range of motion here. The arms here will rotate at the shoulders. They move in and out, and also part of the transformation, you can kind of get a higher range of motion with them, so that's very cool. He's got a bicep swivel, bends here at the elbow, nothing at the wrist, although, I mean, I guess you could say it moves in and out. He does rotate at the waist, the hips, forward and back, and you can really hear that. that makes me kind of nervous that something, some joint in here is really kind of wearing down. So again, we'll have to see. Time will tell. But moves in and out, and there's a nice ratchet joint moving in and out. Rotates here at the knee, bends, or I'm sorry, at the thigh, bends at the knee, and then the feet have some good posability. So you can really get this guy into some really cool poses. I mean, and these pop off. I mean, I'm not very good at posing, but I mean, you could do something like this, I suppose. Sure, there. But that actually doesn't look too terribly bad. And for one final size comparison, here you see Phantom next to the Ultra Class Robot mode of Silverbolt. Now, obviously, this is a huge size difference. And honestly, this, I think, is a good scale. The Concorde was a much bigger plane, so it really does kind of work. But I kind of like this kind of display option as well. I know we are getting, obviously, a Silverbolt version with the TFC Toys Uranos set, but that's a nice looking kind of alternative, I suppose. Now, for his transformation back, go ahead and remove these bits. Just kind of set them off to the side. Come around here to the feet. We're going to start off by rotating these, folding these up, and then kind of shifting them up. Just get them all the way up there. Makes it a little bit easier. Do the same on this side as well. Just kind of shift that up. Now, I'm going to try leaving the wings on here just to see if I can actually do it right. Go ahead and detach this. Fold this out, just kind of straighten out the head, fold this, kind of push this all the way down, kind of line it up. One thing that I didn't actually mention was that the cockpit actually does, it's hard to get in there, but it actually does lift up, which is really very cool. And then you can see the silver seats in there, and then it's just on a hinge there. But it's kind of tough to get in there. You got to use a nail kind of to get it in there. And my nails suck, so there you go. Fold these bits up just like so. Kind of fold the little arm thingies over here just like that. Go ahead, take the hands, tuck those in on both sides, and then fold this all the way down, kind of fitting that right in the side there, just like that. Gonna do that on this side as well, and we're just gonna leave it there for right now. We're not gonna tab anything together, but you see it coming together pretty nicely. Go ahead and take this. You have to collapse these legs. There we go. Give it a nice little push. Kind of angle these. Just get them out of the way. Lift this. Lift this. Well, you can fold these down like so. The instructions don't really say what you're supposed to do with this section. You can leave it like this or fold it up. I guess it's your personal preference. Bring these two sections together. Kind of fold this out. Bring the legs together. Give that a nice little squeeze. Fold that together just like so. Kind of rotate these around, just again getting them out of the way. Fold this back, kind of angle this back just a little so that you can have enough clearance to kind of tuck that in and then straighten that right back up. Then fold this all the way out. This section is very thin and does kind of feel fragile, so you do want to be careful with this. It's not too bad, but it's a point of concern for me that it's that thin. So just be careful with it, guys. Then fold this down, kind of lift this up. Now when you're doing this, again, to kind of make the transition here a little bit easier, you can see the little holes here in here. You want to do it where you're lifting it over, bringing it down, but then when you get it like this, make sure you squeeze these together. That'll make it a little bit easier to push that in. First time I did it, it made it very nervous, and then I was kind of worried that these pegs were going to break, and I still kind of am, but it's not too bad, but it's something to be cautious about. Again, this is a third-party figure, and it doesn't have the same tolerance levels that a Hasbro product would have. Now, for these, obviously, you see the little tab right there. You got the little hole section here. Fold this. Kind of keep that as straight as you possibly can. Fold this up, and then just give that a nice little push right inside like so. Do that on this side as well. Keeping this straight. Because this is on like a double joint, so you do have to kind of keep it as straight as possible, otherwise this kind of pops out. Fold this up, and then again, straighten this out. You got the whole section underneath here, and you got the little tab right there. You're just going to bring that up. That locks into place, and when you do that, usually this pops this out. You can kind of see how you push it in, and then it pops out. So, but again, this isn't all that straight. So if you keep that straight, that really should kind of fix that problem There we go, and who cares? It's up against the side anyhow, so it doesn't look too bad. Straighten this out, bring this up, kind of tab that in there, just like so. And like I said, I mean, those stay in there fairly nice, I mean, at least on the side. Fold out the wings, do that on both sides, and here you have Phantom back in his Phantom mode. And again, very nice looking jet mode. I really dig this. This is a very clean looking jet mode. Like I said, you can fold this up underneath here if you really want to. I don't think it really matters. There's no instructions on it, but I kind of like leaving them down like so. The one thing that does kind of suck is there doesn't appear to be any kind of storage option for the hand bit. Not that I really can see. And the hand section down here actually plugs in down here, so there really, to my knowledge, there really isn't a good storage option for it, and they don't touch on it in the instructions. So again, you can take these, peg these in here. Now you probably could like trim this down to get it to fit up in there a little bit better, because as you can see, there's a little tiny bit of overhang right there, which that might fix the missiles sliding along the ground. And then this landing gear here is a bit of a pain in the butt to get out, and it's only because, like I said, my fingernails are really kind of short. So there you have him back in his jet mode, guys. Now the question really does remain, is this figure worth $100? Honestly, I don't believe that he is. If this was an $80 figure, I would be a whole lot more happier and content with it, especially since we were paying $100 for what I feel was a higher quality product with the Hercules set. The engineering on here is fantastic. I love the way he looks both in vehicle mode and robot mode. The limb mode we'll get to, obviously, that has its own unique set of instructions and kind of problems, I suppose. And I know people are going to complain that I didn't show it off in this, but gotta save something for the Uranos review, right? But the biggest thing that I have with this is it just feels, I don't want to say cheap, because at $100 it's not cheap. It just doesn't feel like it's at the same quality level. I mean, I don't actually know if the jets are supposed to have like the wings where it's not like that. Or maybe they're supposed to be bent. I don't really exactly remember how this jet is supposed to look. But at any rate, this is a wonderful looking figure. At $100, it is a little bit steep, considering, like I said, the quality that I feel that we're getting. At $80, this would be a total steal, and I would absolutely pick it up all day long at that price. So you really do have to kind of talk to yourself and say, is $100 what you want to pay for it? For me, it's worth picking up. Just know that the tolerance levels on some of the plastic really doesn't feel as strong as the Hercules, so you do want to be a little bit more careful with this. There are parts when I was transforming this, such as the back section here, actually tabbing that in, and then when you fold this up, there's just some parts on here where I'm not 100% confident in the plastic with it. But that being said, this is still a wonderful figure. I would absolutely recommend picking it up. And I really think he's going to look very cool next to your Hercules figures, and I'm so thrilled that we're getting these kind of guys. It's really a fun time to be a Transformer fan or transforming robot fan. We got some really good third-party stuff coming out, and TFC Toys really does, in my opinion, stand out as one of the best. So there you go. There's the look at the TFC Phantom, part of the new Uranos project. I really hope you guys enjoyed, so I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Keep in touch with me. Find out recent purchases as well as upcoming videos, all at facebook.com/teambotimus and twitter.com/optibotimus. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.